Well, you know, I suffer from the Vietnam syndrome. If you point a gun at me, I'm going to shove it down your throat. I'm sorry to say that. Sorry, gang, but that's the truth. If you point, so we had things where everyone's instinct is automatically to put their fingers on the trigger. Well, they stopped doing that on the set with me because I don't have it. I really don't have it. It's an instinct. That's the way I was trained. Thank you very much, America. That's how I was trained. If you put your finger on the trigger when you're talking or you're waving your weapon around, I'm going to jam it down your throat. I got to do that.
Okay, stand by for full rehearsal in the drive, please, before we start the rain. Shh. Ready? And action! Go! Get it on! Michael!
At some points, we're using blanks. Blanks can hurt people. And so if everyone's aware of what it is that they're actually walking around with, I want each and every one of these people, which they have already done, they're starting to fall in love with their guns. I know it sounds very silly, but from a military point of view, it's correct.
Run it this time with the Steadicam, providing it's ready.
Okay, Paul, bring the pressure up.
Go and action.
Let's go! Move it on! Count 'em up!
It gets a little scary though when you're in a situation on a film crew and stuff, because a lot of times he wants to shoot near the camera and stuff like that. So you worry about the crew and you worry about your other actors and stuff.
Paul Weston is great. He's the best stunt coordinator I've ever worked with. He's very funny too, and if you say, gosh, I have a problem with this, he can help you rehearse it enough times so that it loses its sort of insecurity for you. You can just get the job done,
Keep quiet back there, please. Shh. Fingers down. So, Derek, right. Stop the effect!
I don't think Ripley is a gun person at all. And I want to make sure that in those scenes, although I look like I'm handling it, I don't turn into a Marine. I'm not a soldier. I never want to be a soldier. The thing that scares me about the guns is that after you've been using them a couple of days, you go, oh, well, this is, you sort of get into it. And I think that's what happens to people with real guns. And I think Jim Cameron is very anti-gun too, in his own way, but I think he's fascinated by them in a way that I'm not. I don't like that feeling you get after you've shot off a few rounds of, I'm immortal, it's just garbage. There were moments on Aliens where I had to shoot stunt dummies who were dressed as aliens. I would have to shoot stunt men who were moving as aliens, and I always thought it was amazing. We'd rehearse it, of course, in detail, but then they kind of left it to me. I mean, I know there were blanks, but still, what if I'd flamed a real person? They trusted me completely. And I have to say that once you start shooting, you get to like, the target practice alone was, very like,
There's some very big accidents that have happened over the years that I've seen on sets, but it's just going to happen. I mean, when you get 100 people in a confined space, and something's being overlooked. I mean, if you're firing a flamethrower at plastic, decorations on the wall, set designs, they're going to burst into flame. What's the surprise?
Well, the APC, when they did the fire gag, we're falling back after the first, major attack where we just basically get decimated by the aliens, and we're falling back into the APC, and Drake's flamethrower shoots inside and catches on fire. And what they did, they set different parts of the set on fire, strategic parts. Some of the set was made out of plastic, and some of that started to burn. It caused a toxic gas. And I remember just really clearly Jeanette Goldstein saying, "I can't breathe," and I remember just this is such an actorly moment. But I thought, hey, that's a good improv. And the very next thing I remember is taking a breath and there literally being no oxygen, just like, and then I realized, oh my God, she's not in character. She's suffocating like I am.
It was like Bill said, like somebody had sucked all the breath out of me, and I was like.
It's kind of like what you feel like when you hear about chemical weapons and so on and so forth, what it would be like. And you suck in, there's like nothing other than fire in your lungs.
Cut, they pulled us all out, they had to give us oxygen, they sent us to lunch. And I remember we came back to shoot the same shot after lunch and the exact same thing happened. So I think they ended up taking the roof off the top of it so the flames and the smoke had somewhere to ventilate while we shot.
So I think they finally did it with a fire effect. But I'm sure they kept a lot of part of that take of us just sort of, until of course we rip off our gear and start screaming like sissies, running off.